Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining me every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do share it with your friends and spread the message. It's very important. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today we have Deepti back with us for another reading from SSR Diary. Welcome, Deepti.
Thank you, Minaji. Thank you so much. In fact, I'm really grateful as an Indian for this platform of yours.
Thank you.
Totally,
it's always a pleasure.
Yes,
it's
we need
pleasure.
Actually. This is the need of the hour.
Yeah,
and I just
it's always a pleasure because the kind of work you've been doing, Deepti. See, it's been so consistent. You've kept the your detractors at bay, and now with your visit to Delhi, I think all your detractors are now sleeping in some cave.
Yes, some positive development happened actually. I received a call from CBI office. Yeah. I received a call from CBI office in the morning.
Yeah.
Some officer named Anil Yadav, I think SP or DSP, he called from CBI office. They confirmed that they received my application. They took some details of mine and they inquired about the evidence at hand. And he said that he will discuss with his seniors and get back to me soon with the appointment details and all. So it's a positive development that happened.
Very positive. Yeah, very positive. Yeah. I mean, you made the effort of going there, and not only that, you were supposed to be there only for one day, but because of the sudden holiday, you had to postpone it.
Yeah. Yes, I
ended up staying 3-4
days. Yeah. Yes, I had to.
Yeah.
See, because we never know. We never know when again lockdown is going to come or when third wave is going to come. The times are so uncertain.
Yes.
So if I have taken the trouble to fly down, so I thought, let me finish the work in proper way and then come back.
Yeah.
So,
and also,
it is fetching results.
Yeah. And also, friends, before we start, just one more important thing is that, see, don't be disappointed when Mumbai police tells you that Disha case is closed. It can't be closed because, as MR said yesterday, it is so closely linked with the SSR case, which is handled by CBI. So don't worry about all this. This is like the fake news that all these, mainstream media are spreading. So don't believe that.
Yes, Mumbai police has also closed Jia Khan's case, but then it's still alive, right?
It's back.
After 9 years.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start, Deepti?
Yes, Minaji, today I'll just read. I'll start reading straight away.
Okay.
All right. So before we continue any further, I would like to narrate a very interesting incident that happened on the sets of the movie Once Upon a Time in Mumbai. The role Ajay Devgan was playing didn't impress some names in the underworld, and they got a little hard on the producers. And it was then edited and made sure that the particular scene where Shoaib is taken into the gang, and this scene was carefully re-edited and the corrections were made. It is only after this did the rest of the movie happen. Not many will speak up about this, but when Asif Bhai told me about this, the things went so bad that during the sequel, which was done, there was another incident which totally messed up the things in such a way that it took impact on the movie's marketing. It's known to all that the film crew was ignored when they went to promote the movie during the then ongoing IPL matches. And Akshay Kumar distanced himself from Ekta. But when things started going out of hand, it is the same Akshay who remodeled the entire marketing strategy of the film. And what happened, how it happened, and what was the compromise made. The detailed report is on its way, and I shall speak about it when I lay my hands on it. And if someone would ask himself what is the connection between all these industries and sports and why IPL is more of planned setup, then I too am in a way well aware. Okay, sorry. I left one line.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if someone would ask himself what is the connection between all these industries and sports and why IPL is more of planned setup than actual matches happening, I would say this movie is your answer. Do some research and homework around it. You will get a lot of answers. I too am in a way well aware of all these happenings and some things that came on to me when I was doing MS Dhoni, The Untold Story, but the things that came on to me and things that were revealed to me recently, if I go back and give some exercise to my brain. My statement that I made just a while back about IPL, I feel, is the basic reality of the entire sports event and most of the leagues that happen around the world. For now, this can well be my assumption too, but there is nothing to support this stand because there is nothing to support this stand. But as a matter of fact, when things come to you in a way it comes, and when some incidents connect to some other happenings, that's when your brain tells you this is what that might have happened. The only question which I still find it as the biggest confusion around everything is that revolving around three major incidents. Number one, Arbaz Khan and the betting scandal. Two, Sid Malia and Deepika relationship. 3. Anil Musarat and his connection. To add to this, there are various other factors, but those are not relevant to the issue that I am currently handling. The only concern over here is that when such huge things which are quite clear to the naked eye comes out in the open, there is no real progress. When these come out, and the irony is that everyone is hand in glove. If some if some real development was the agenda, then why was the name Arbaz took during the investigations never really called for? The relationship of Deepika and Sid Malia, when Vijay Malia was declared a willful offender, why was Sid and Deepika not under the radar? And everyone knows who Musarat is and what are his connections. When he is a regular visitor to celebrity events, why is it that these celebrities are not asked for his location or his whereabouts? As I always keep telling, there is everything within us as a country. We have everything talent, skill, and great minds too. But the only thing that we lack is intent. And also, if the intent is there, there are two types of people who become the center subject for every discussion. Number one, the ones who do not do their job properly. Number two, the ones who do not let others do their jobs properly. No one is really bothered about the responsibilities they need to adhere, but are only concerned about how to collectively put everything to rest. There is a setup for everything. What I mean by setup here is not the setup these people have around them. The setup here means an organization for every kind of issue that should pop up. But why are these organizations here in the first place? Are they just to fill in the blanks, or they have some real intent to work? What is wrong if a normal citizen who knows nothing or has no connection has something valuable with him, some valuable piece of information that can help? Why do the people in power ask stupid questions instead of trying to see if the informations provided are of any help? Every damn thing that happens has the same set of people who have done the crime, or these are the same set of people who are involved in the crime. Now, keeping this social status aside, if a common man would have done all this, would this be the same way in which investigations with the issue that has occurred that concerns the common man addressed? Why this double face? Is it that law is the same for all, good only in books? The only reason I am writing this in detail is because there is one more angle which I would want everyone to know and understand how important a role this angle plays when a lot of crimes have to be put to rest and the evidences have to be destroyed. Let's start it methodically. Number one person can be in two places. There are two ways to get this done. I will explain both the ways. A. Get to a live event, get photographs, and silently move out of there. B. Use the industry trick. Use the industry trick. Camera angles and the way the Bollywood industry works plays a major role here. We all have seen in the movies that when a hero is performing a stunt, his acting double does it for him. I have seen instances where this applies in real life too. When there is a situation where something has to be hit, then the acting double gets into the picture. And this is how the matter is put to rest. This has been happening in most of the cases, and in the court, when something backfires, all these people will do is that they will show this footage and walk out clean. If this is an evidence in court, then for me, the photographs of top celebrities with the likes of Dawood and other gangsters is also evidence for a fact that these people know the whereabouts, but when this comes into the picture, there is another card that is played. We meet so many people and we randomly take photographs with them. Does that mean we know them? No, right? And unfortunately, this is taken as another answer for the fact to be hit. I am writing this here because I want to explain this in three different scenarios. When Deepika went to JNU and said that she was very angry with what is happening and there is no action being taken, this was made news. But how much did she get to go there? If my source cracks this, I will come out with the evidence around it and keep it all out in the public domain. The most important connection here is that when this was happening, whom was Deepika sided with? I won't give out anything here and leave it up to you to decide and fuel your own imaginations. I am using this word here very carefully because when I got in touch with the concerned authority, the answer I got was these are big names. We need solid evidence to take action. But then, why is common man arrested on the grounds of doubts? So sorry, state of affairs, that things happen this way. When the name is big, the style of work is different. When the name is not that big, the style of work is entirely different. The second instance is a rather more interesting and deeper one, when there was one turn wherein Sonia Gandhi had dual passport and question marks came over who would be the PM of her country, and the fact everyone knows how a great visionary like Manmohan Singh got played into it. No one had any questions or doubts, or rather, when you take the portfolios of top ministers, you will find more foul than logic into it. Then why is all that has all then why is all that what happened in 2014 when Modi ji was to be sworn in as the prime minister happened? What was it that got a thorn in the throat of these anti-nationals? If someone can corner Sonia and ask her what is her involvement in Rajiv Gandhi murder, there will be a lot of dark secrets out. But no, there is no one interested in all this. Then why do you want to wear the garb of public service? No one is doing it. You are only filling your pockets with the mask of public services. This is the biggest irony. But what do we have? Only stories and hearsays. And because the names are big, these stories fall on deaf ears. Why is it like this? For now, my hands are tied because I do not have the documents to support this. But there is only one hope for our country, and that is the man who is at the helm now, Narendra Modi ji. I will do my duty as an honest citizen, get all this together, and meet him once with all this when I am done. I'm sure if no one wants to listen to what I have, the man will definitely do. But for that, I need to be well prepared. We all know how much he is doing for the country and how precious every second on his watch is. So when I meet him, I need to ensure that every second of time that I spend with him, he should not feel that it was a waste. I have my investigations on, and I will make sure that I will put it to the best use, though is not my only approach. Because as I have said earlier, if Modi ji wants to do good too, the people around him might not let this happen. So I have to be ready with the backups too. And I will prepare myself and be ready for it too. The third instance, which I feel is one where there is a lot of hidden stories involved and which indeed needs thorough investigation, is 2019 Pulwama attack and the incidents that floated later after the attack. The surgical strike that was made as a revenge for Pulwama was one brave and solid decision made that gave a strong statement that this new India will not keep quiet, and people had questions on the authenticity of it. Why, when Nepal wanted to join hands with India and be a part of India, the issue was not taken up seriously? When UN wanted to give permanent status to India, you didn't take it because you wanted peace, and it went to China. History books are full of your mistakes. And when a right step is taken, you need proof for it. I just don't know what words do I use to praise you, within brackets sarcastic, and what do I call the people who follow you. Yes, there is no doubt that Pulwama is a big question mark on the security of the nation. But then a top secret mission like a surgical strike is not the scene of your $1 million movie that it will be filmed. What has happened to your common sense? If you feel I am favoring someone, here, then so be it. I will not tell anything because what you fuel your imagination is your take. But for me, what I feel about the incidents that have happened in the books of history and use my brains behind it, I feel that the damage that has happened should not be used as an excuse to have the development works done. Modi ji is a great leader, and I personally feel with him in the center, the country is in safe hands. And when we were silent for so long, with all the shit that was happening, we took it all. Now, don't you think it's too early to come to any conclusion again? When I come out, I will be given a badge of a right winger or a Modi Bhakt, and a political angle will be weaved around it. But I will not care of whatever is in store for me. Fine, if we go by what is shown in the media, I would put it this way. In the city of blind, the person with one eye is the king. And when all these people are put together on the side of the scale, and Modi ji alone also, if he's on the other side of it, then Modi ji is far better than all this. The only reason I took this as a case study and explained each of these instances because we made the mistakes. We, in the sense, what I want to say over here is the people who wanted to see a change. The biggest mistake we made was we never documented our work. And this is what made it a fresh beginning for everyone who wanted to start. And as I have kept telling, if history and as I have kept telling, if history repeats this time too, I will at least have the satisfaction that I have documented my journey. So, if someone who wants to see changes happen, to start a movement, and wants to see some changes around it, then this work of mine will definitely help. And this is what is needed too. Because when you are aware of what all is in store for you, at least can be prepared for what you want to do and how you want to get it done. The only request with both hands folded is till you are ready, don't let anything out. I don't want to keep writing it here because I have some important things that needs to be added here. But then in one line, unless you are all set to go, silence is the key to success. For me, success doesn't mean that you make noise out of it. Real success for me is when you succeed. You just let the work speak for itself. These three instances are enough to stand out as explanations for itself how mind games are being played, how facts are manipulated, and how does the media play a very important role when such issues come up, and how everyone joins hands together to make sure that the issue never comes out or the real story is not out to the general public. Wish my country had some rules tight. I would want to challenge each one of them to try this out elsewhere in some other country. They would be washed out within no time. But here in our country, there is a long history of it, wherein this is not taken seriously. Some small changes are seen here and there, but again, these people have a problem with that as well. My heart says that if this government gets a term or two more, and if all these weeds are eliminated, then for sure we will see the India of our dreams in front of us very, very soon. Everyone seems to blame the center for everything these days. But this was not the case when the governments in the past were operating. Please do not misunderstand me. I am not political. I am just trying to stay neutral and put my views out in my perspective. Because I pay my taxes, I vote, and I have the right to voice out on the changes I want to see in my country. Politics never amused me because I Politics never amused me, never will. But in the current situation, if some changes has to happen, the one man who can do it is Narendra Modi ji. And one final line to conclude on this for now is when the Statue of Unity unfolded, everyone went hooting by saying it's a waste of money, it's a waste of money. Today, when we go back and see the revenue it has generated, I would like to ask the same people, where are you hiding now? This is what we need to understand. One thing, what this teaches us, that what action we take today, the world might criticize. You people might take dicks on you. And people may also try and put you down, make your life a mess. But you have it in you, and if you have the right plan and the vision, wherein you yourself know that this is how it is going to succeed, then one day the people who once rode on you, when the time comes, people will understand that road was without any substance. The standing example for this is the Sardar Patel Statue of Unity, which was under heavy question attack once, and the revenue it is generating today, the work is standing tall, not the people who raised questions on it. This is how anything needs to be done. When you are up to something, the only thing and the only person you need to be dependent on is yourself and your gut. This is what is the most important thing that will always stand with you come what may. There are so many things and instances that have motivated me and have made me stronger and better over the period of time. But subtle decisions like this makes one realize that it is very important for the plan to be perfect, and then you need to leave the rest to itself as things will fall in place automatically. I can go on for pages on Narendra Modi ji because the way he carries himself and the way he is handling the situations now, there is no other doubt in my mind that if someone is going to change the current situation in our country, then it is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And yes, some of his ideas do match with mine, and the way the ideas are executed too can be a big lesson to the young generation on how to plan their actions and not care what the people think about it. The only question that keeps ringing in my mind is that when the leader is so great, why is it that sometimes plans fail for this too? The answer is very simple. Modi ji and a select few ministers being good is not enough. The entire team should be good. But the irony is that in order to keep Modi ji there in the center, we need to vote some wrong people too. See, this has happened, do not deny, at the local level. Even if the leader is useless, you have to vote for him. And trust me, I have heard so many speeches of these people where they have used the name of Modi ji as a weapon to secure a win for themselves. This is the sad part of it. But when the greater picture is good, these thugs have to be carried along because the man there in the center is potential enough to tighten the noose around these people's neck if they try to mess up. At least I have some hopes on Modi ji for the strong and stern decisions he has been taking, and can vouch for it that if this pandemic had happened during the time of any other government, then the situation would be much, much, much more worse. No doubt some initial decisions are indeed questionable, but yes, we all should not forget that right from the WHO to countries like USA and others had no idea what this was. And the initial theory that came in was totally different. This COVID has another story around it. But for now, let's not get there now, because this is something which can trigger a whole lot of controversies and make the issue a mess altogether. But the one thing that remains a fact is that when we compare other countries to India, we have handled the virus in a much, much better way, though the other stories around it also have some substance in it. I need to be more than 100% sure before I start working on it. I don't know for now whether I should take it up or not. But then let's wait. Too many things are running in my mind now. So I'm not sure what exactly I should be doing when this COVID thing comes up. But the thing what I want to do over here is that I will for sure design an app to keep a check on the spread of this virus, and also prepare the app in such a way that the disease is diagnosed very early so that preventive steps can be taken, and this can be one way that a break can be applied on this virus before the vaccine is discovered. I'm sure this too will fade down, but it will take time, and we all need to stay strong around this. And this will for sure take a toll on a lot of innocent people. But one thing is for sure, this virus will also do the same thing. The powerful people will become more powerful, and the poor people will grow more and more poor. Nothing more to be added here for now, because this is one issue, unless you know it in and out, you better not comment. Because this is one such issue which can malign you totally. All your good work will put aside, and one wrong statement spoken will be highlighted, and all your efforts you have been putting goes down the drain. And then it's the same old music. Fight within yourself to explain what you meant. So it's better to leave this issue for now. The issue will speak up for itself when the things come out on its own. This for now, I am putting a full stop to it because I have other things to do, and that needs a lot of time and patience. I need to make sure that I stay focused and dedicated. I want to speak up, but let's first finish what I have started. Then take up other issues, is what I was told. And I find total sense in it too. Too many things to handle at once will make it a little difficult to get the right things done at the right time. And yes, it's very important to know what is your limit and what are your capacities. If you have things handy, you need to be sure how you manage your time and resources. Because the things these people can attack you is your time and resources. As I have explained earlier, they will dry you out of your resources and your time. They will make sure that they will keep you trapped in a web of events wherein you will be confused what to do and what not to. And then the thing, as always, settlements. They will call you for a settlement, and the settlement happens in a way that the matter is closed forever, in a way the benefit is on their side. And you can face a hell lot of problems if you decide to go against them. This is how traps are set for the people who go against them. And this is how the syndicate has been working and will continue to work till someone puts a stop to it. And this is another headache which is making so many people suffer. Someone, why cannot that someone be me? Or if that someone can be you. But the thing is so important that someone has to start. And once the things start, everyone will follow. The only thing that counts is that how things are started. I think I will bore you by continuously going round and round around the same topic, but the main thing that comes to my mind is how the people who want to raise their voice in the past were put to silent. Maybe because they did not find a platform where they can express or could actually speak up about it. The only thing I want to make sure is that this tendency has to break. Because the only mistake that has happened from so long is that whenever someone wants to take a stand against something wrong, he is put to rest. And the biggest thing that happens here is that what was the fight, how deep was the journey, and what were the challenges faced by the person, no one has any idea around it. This is how it has been till now, but this will not continue henceforth. From the mistakes that people have done in the past is the reason why these people grew this strong. And this is why there was no logical end to this long, long journey. These people have come on the path of crime. I know the moment I take this out, there will be a lot of backlash. So I have my team to take care of everything when it comes to who will continue. But this work will stay. And if anyone lays hands on this, is someone who is just started, I hope and pray this helps him to get to the end. Because this, if it was done by people like Divya Bharti or Parveen Bhabi, then this syndicate's backbone could have been broken long, long back. But what has happened is happened back. But what has happened is happened back then. Who knows what happened and what were the challenges they had to go through? We would be wrong to judge anyone in what their stand was unless we get to know what journey did they undertake and what were the problems they faced. This is life and this is what everyone should understand. It is very easy to point a finger at someone else when something goes wrong, but we often forget that three other fingers point back to us. And one important aspect which not many note is that a person's character reflects in his words and the body language. If someone gives you respect, that sometimes might not mean that you deserve it, but it can also mean that the person who is giving you respect is from a respectful background. Some things in our society should change, and the basic thought process of common people should change. The three biggest things that happen, and these have to stop, or the context has to change. Rather than, let me put it this way, three lessons which are taught from our childhood. Either these lessons have to change, or everyone should stand by their teachings. Number one, never do any wrong to anyone. Be honest and hardworking and stay dedicated to what you are doing. Number two, stay on the path of truth and don't fear to speak the truth. No matter what happens, truth emerges victorious at the end. Number three, when you see a fight happening or some injustice happening, walk away. Don't indulge yourself into this, within brackets, most cases. The first two needs to be taught to everyone to stick to. And the third one, I have a question for everyone. Now imagine this injustice was happening to someone who is your own. Then still, would you walk away? These three things have to change. The first two, we need to practice what is been preached. And the third point, we need to ensure we change it as follows. When something wrong happens, get united and fight against it. I will make sure I will put all efforts around this and make people aware of their real strength, because this is the need of the hour and this is what is the basic thing that everyone should follow. If you have this no tolerance attitude, then there is no way anyone can dominate on you. This tolerance of ours is our biggest rival. Tolerate, but tolerate only to those people who understand the language. There is no point playing the flute in front of the buffalo. When someone does something wrong to you, only if you do not take a stand against it will it add up to it. But just once, for one time, taking all your courage inside you, if you blurt out, I can bet on it that the next time if someone wants to mess with you, he will shiver, at least before thinking of doing anything similar to not just you, but anyone. Just that one action can put a full stop to these people. If they are 10 and you are 1, then 2. If they hit you 10 times, one hit from your side also can make the whole picture change. This is what the people need to understand in today's world. The more you bow your head down, the more hits you shall take. But once, just once, if you raise your head up and learn to strike, then the people who play around with you will stop. They have to stop, because now the one thing that will establish is that now the fear is over. And when this fear is over, they are over. It's wrong to take law into one's own hands, but when you want to defend yourself, there is no law that can stop you from doing it. Understand this and get it deep into yourself. If an innocent forgets his innocence and gets to the street, then there is no bigger boon than him in the society. The society often plays a major role, responsibilities towards our people, and live up to it. I'm sorry. Society often plays a major role in this, and when this happens, we all, the ones who will have to share the blame equally. So it's very important that we understand our responsibilities towards our people and live up to it. It's very easy to give up, but it makes you a man if you stand and fight for your right. Because when you fight for your right, you earn what is rightfully yours, and no one on the face of this earth can snatch it away from you. This is the reality of life, and we all need to make sure and we should have a tough stand on it. The society which we want, if we want to make sure we see it, then we all need to ensure that we all should make sure we should do it from the scratch. It's very easy to sit in the cozy drawing room of your house and give your opinion and say this and that. But at the end, the biggest question that comes here is, what are we going to achieve out of it? What are we going to achieve anything about, just because all we are doing is we are talking about it? I'm not saying talking about it is wrong, but only talking about it is because it's very easy to sit on a cozy wheelchair and sarcastically pass a comment and say this could be done and that could be done. Why not get out and do it? I know this is looking too unrealistic, but the only thing that I want people to understand is that the right intent to get the right way. This is the only solution or the right way in which things are to be approached. If you feel something is wrong, voice out for it rather than gossip around it. If you want a change, be the change. You might again think I am speaking nonsense and unrealistic things. But the fact is that no one will ever stand for you. When the perspectives differ, and this is when you have to take a stand for yourself. If you can do it, only then speak about it. If you cannot do it, then you have no rights to speak about it. Even this is how you need to be. Again, this is how serious you need to be when you are doing any work. And this is how you need to be dedicated when you are taking things up. And the reason why you are taking it up is very important for you to finish it. If you take it up as one amongst the other things that you want to do, then there is no way you will be able to finish or achieve what you want to, because the thing falls back on your list. Anything that you take up, you should take it up as if it is do or die for you. Unless you take it up like this, there is no ways you will be able to achieve what you want. When an issue comes up in front of these people leave everything aside and then focus on the issue that needs to be addressed. Agreed, they are better placed and have better manpower or better planning. But what we need to learn here is the execution. How they, like a colony of bees, get together and first target the issue that is on hand. Not that they don't have other issues to address, but the fact is that they take up issues seriously. This is what I heard from one person who was once a part of one such organization but walked out, and since then has been an asset when you want to learn how to take them down, and then has also made a name for himself and has been that one standout person who always had known his limits and never let ego get into his head, and has always been as clean as water. The name is none other than I have blanked out the name Minaji. That person is still alive. Okay. And has always been as clean as water. The name is none other than this superstar, the man who had strong links with the anti-nationals, but then once he stepped into the industry, he was totally out of it. He has been one person who has been the role model to people to understand the importance of decision making. The man had everything under the sun to decide and continue on the path he was on, but he decided to make sure they all get together. But he decided to come back and give it another try. And he never went back. And his words are like, if you mess with them, the first thing they do is to make sure they all get together and address you as their prime issue, and then take care of the other issues at hand. And thus, so that even if there are two rival outfits who have had differences in the past too, they team up, keep all the difference aside, and team up and try and address the outsider who has become a common threat to their existence. This is how the pattern works, and the people say this is how it is continuing even to date. The people here are those people who got in touch with me when my team got in touch with the superstar. And since then, this star has been an asset to us. And he has also promised us to get the political support if needed. And this man is super trustworthy, because the only thing what this man has, which many do not, is the taste of a painful past and the personal issues he has faced. Because of these people, he is one silent warrior who wanted to raise a voice like others but was never able to, because of the increasing controversies around him and then the building pressure around him. If the words of one source are to be taken, this source clearly says that the marriage of Boni Kapoor and Sridevi was Boni's way to get into fame. This indeed is a very huge story, and this source has told me that he has some solid things around this, but he will not let me have my hands on it till I show him my intent. I totally understand his stand, but yes, there is at least something here which I can bank on and ensure that something positive around this happens. And this superstar is one person who also told me that in order to clean up something, you need to get into it, be one among them, and then make sure you learn how they work and prepare your work around these people. The way these people work is different with each outfit, and this is very important for you to understand. And also, the weakness of theirs plays a very important trick to understand the modus on how these people work. Okay, I'll just skip to lines.
Okay.
Minaji, do you want me to continue? Because there are two slides
Yes, please.
he has mentioned.
Yeah.
After 3 slides, there are other 3 slides which has mentioned about the working pattern of these people in detail.
Yeah.
And then some names come. So do you
Yeah.
want me to mention these as well, to read out these as well?
Yes. Please go ahead. It makes a lot of sense that way.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Some of them I know, and I shall tell you here how they get the people to work with them. Number one, Naxals, family problems. The Naxals, if they want to recruit you, they will start washing your brain on the problems you face on the family front. Confused? Let me explain in detail how this works. Naxals, the weapon they use is family emotions. The team gets in touch with people who have issues with their family, and then these people who are already in two minds are diverted using this as a tactic. And then they are fed to believe that the government is the reason for all the problems they are facing, and thus recruit people into the outfit. And this is how these people work and get their job done. The leaders do nothing, but these brainwashed youth get the jobs done for them. Number two, Maoists, poverty and zamindari. Zamindari means landlord. This is not there now, but poverty is always there, and landlordship is there in the rural villages in the country. These Maoists believe in one thing, that is centralized system. But this is not for the benefit of the people, but for their own benefit. But the way in which they weave their web, people will believe it is for them, and the people fall for this. And this is how they have successfully established the nexus. The Maoists work on this and ensure they have strong hold on how they operate. 3. Communists. These people target almost everyone, and these communists, the one thing they want to ensure is the safety of labor class. So basically, they treat all these union where laborers are available in huge numbers and then weave their webs around huge businesses. Their ideology is simple. Everyone is equal, but this comes with parameters too, and the parameters change with time, and these parameters change according to situations. The only thing that matters to these communists is their ideologies, and they don't care for their own families if they come in the path of their ideologies. These are the other three major setups that have been creating ruckus around the country in the recent years. And the main amongst them all is the terrorist organizations, and we all know how they work. So I don't think there is much needed to be written about them. But yes, the main thing we need to understand here is the pattern, poverty and differences. The poverty and differences angle has played major role in all the tragedies that have happened in the past and continue to happen. That's why it is very important that we make sure that we take care of our people. If there is some small confusion in a relationship, we should not let go of them. The biggest mistake we do is when differences come, we start to avoid people. This should not happen. Unless you get to the root of it and understand the entire thing around it, it's not right that way. It's not right that you take any decision around it. Again, this is just my opinion. Decision is up to you, and you need to ensure that you are totally ready and prepared for it. Often, small things lead to big mishaps. This happens when we do not consider some warnings that come on our head without notice. And most of these warnings come without notice. And we need to prepare for it. And then we need to execute it. See, in our life, we need to understand one thing, which is very important. Relationships are never meant to be in confusion and in a question, or kept hanging in confusion. There is either a relation or there is none. There is nothing in between. So, this is how it should be. If you want someone in your life or around you, make sure you give it your 100%. And it is up to them what their priorities are, how they want to proceed. But if you are a true human, then you need to value every relationship, because this can work against you. If you have bad relationships, because as I have said earlier, these people target the people with whom you have a bad patch. So try and understand this and get this deep. If you don't like someone and have reasons for it, respectfully walk out of it. Please have this deep into your minds. The way this superstar explained everything to us, we only had tears in our eyes. How not just him, but a lot of other people who never knew what they were doing or what they were to do, but were trapped into this, and then there was no way out. The superstar also went on to add that the moment he wanted to come out and the effort he put to come out, the first few years were nothing less to hell for him. Not just the anti nationals he was associated with, but the police too were behind him. And how he got out of it, he feels he was blessed. And it's nothing less to a miracle what happened to him. And we were shocked to the core to listen out to him and his experiences. Life is like this too. We learned it from him. And when we think about the situations we are in now, when we compare it to that of this man, I feel we are not even close to the toenail of problems he has faced. And this boosted my confidence to an entire different level, where I was so sure that if a man can walk out of these many problems, then a someone like me has no problems at all. Not that I am underestimating anyone here, but the fact is that if we have the fighting spirit in us, we can fight out of any situation. And this can actually help to do the trick for us too. It's just that we need to stick onto it, and everything will fall in place. And this is the secret of life. We need to fight if we want it, and if we cannot fight, then we cannot cry for what we have lost. And we all should be well aware of this and understand it for a fact that life is not easy. The other name for life is challenge, struggle, and success. If it is easy, then there is something, sometime that is going to strike you. I'm not talking about others, but I'm talking about the people who take a stand. This superstar had given lot of links and connections, and the work on that is on. And this is going to be huge and disturbing because the names involved are so huge and that it will make anyone reading them sweat for now. I cannot conclude anything on this because this is just a narration, but the person looks trustworthy, and when the references has come from someone like him, it definitely cannot be nonsense. But I need something around it to make sure I'm not going on the wrong track. See, the thing here is I need to be very careful. The only thing I fear is I have all the info, but the thing that holds me back is that there is nothing to hold it together. I also need to understand that some of these stories or narrations are buried deep down. But when you have 100 narrations to make, then it is important at least you have 50 things to cover them up. Because the irony is that in the world today, the truth needs papers or some faces to prove itself. But a lie flies around and spreads so fast that when it has just started, it goes to around 100 once. And the zeros keep adding. And unfortunately, in most of the cases, this becomes the truth too. And this is how it has been happening these days. Anyone who stands up for something is asked what he has for it, else it is brushed aside as an allegation. Yes, we need to agree that some people with the wrong intentions have given rise to this situation in the society today. But because of this, so many innocent truths which have stood with it are buried. And now I feel the time has come to dig this out and keep it out in front of the society. Try and get to those little things, no matter how little it is, even it is an indication to what might have happened, and leave it to the public to decide what has to be done around it. And this is how we need to bring out all these things and leave the rest to public to decide. I am repeating it again because some things that we have laid our hands on have not much to support it, but some instances or some indications that this might have happened. And here, what comes as the most important aspect is the judgment power. So, if we keep it out as it is in front of the public, even though no action would be taken or will be taken, nothing much can be spoken around this now. But the thing that counts is how we execute this, because the main thing that comes into the picture here is how we present it. Now that I'm going to write, now what I'm going to write is something which will shake everyone from their seats and also give a shock to most of the people, and the basic belief that this is a sporting event will vanish out of people's mind. IPL, the Indian Premier League, how it started and the initial days, and what were the factors that led to the start of it, and a lot of things which common people do not know. And this is backed with evidences. And for this, once you are done completely reading this, I'll give out the list of names you can go and meet to ensure you have it ready with you when you strike. And yes, remember, some of the names here are very common too, so you would not need to think much about what the real scene behind this could be. You will understand for yourself that this was yet another way to make a fool out of public. The initial days. When Jagmohan Dalmia was the president of BCCI, the head of SL Group, Zee Entertainment Network, lost a 5-year contract to ESPN Star Network, despite being the highest bidder back then. In the year 2004, this happened during August 2004. And then Subhash Chandra was furious as this was not the first time it was happening to him. When Subhash wanted the rights to host the ICC 2000 World Cup, the Z team had their share of rotten luck here again, because despite being the highest bidder yet again, the contract for the ICC event went to News Corp, GCC, and the reason that was told to the SL group was no experience in sports marketing. And a classic example of how the monkey took the cake comes in yet another incident in 2005, where yet again for another time Z was the front runner, but this time during the clash between Z and Star Network, Doordarshan became the black horse and stole the show. Then something which should not have happened happened. The infamous 2007 World Cup, where everyone knows how India was humbled out. And this actually created panic in the business modules, and not many wanted to show much interest in broadcasting. And this moment, the man, a genius in his own thinking capacity, as the people who are close to him describe him to be, did two, did two things here. And this is how he started something which turned and backfired on him later on. But due to this, a big thing shaped up, which would help in everything from money laundering to drugs function smoothly. Now, there is another interesting angle to this here, that the ICL itself was a trial run to see if this was possible. And some people say it was a roaring success. But then there was another incident of clash of interest. And maybe the classic Sharad Power double game, which led to the formation of the famous IPL. Let me now unfold it as and how the things happened. ICL started in 2007 after a lot of planning, because Subhash had the things streamlined in his mind but was waiting for the right opportunity. And here, when the 2007 World Cup disasters exit happened, the BCCI too wanted to make some changes in its structure. That's when Subhash played his wise game, and this game was probably the best a businessman could play. But the person he chose for it was maybe wrong, because he chose someone who could easily switch no matter whatever you have done for him. If you if you have been the best of his friends too, he can just strike without giving you the hint of a warning. When the 2008 BCCI president elections were declared, the SL group supported Sharad Pawar to become the president of BCCI. And this was Subhash's first step towards making sure that his dreams of getting to broadcast cricket events could happen, because everyone knew that cricket was hot cake because of the income it carries along with it. Sharad Pawar won the elections and the ICL started to gain popularity, but not the popularity that was expected. The one thing ICL managed to do was to get the attention of Mukesh Ambani and N. Srinivasan, and everything started here. And Srinivasan wanted to become partners with the Z Group for the event, and so was Reliance. But Subhash was not ready for this. And then started the fight. There was no such plan of an annual sporting event to take shape from the side of the BCCI. But this man, Mukesh Ambani, played the trick, and that's how everything started. The Reliance Group started planning another event because they too wanted to have something that can help in the money rotation. Now, before I continue any further, I have a small exercise for you, which according to me will stand as the biggest proof when I come out with my exposures. Number one, Lalit Modi Mukesh Ambani connection. Number two, who is Praful Patil and what is his connection with the Ambani family? Number three, the king of good times and what led to his downfall. Number four, Sharad Pawar and his angle to all this. Now, here let me make one thing very clear. The fourth one might confuse you, what you get to read, but the first three will actually open your eyes as to what this IPL is all about. The only reason I started to dig around this event was when I heard the story of no experience in cricket marketing being the reason to not let Z broadcast cricketing events. Let me make one point clear here. I'm not in favor of anyone, but one thing, the stock question of our agencies when it comes to such issues are the two stupid questions they ask. I have the answers printed in my mind, but for a reason, if I am not able to finish what I have started, then someone should be able to. Number one, what is the source of it and what made you take this up? The source of it is the fact that have unfolded during the due course of time. And what made me take this up is just one question, which I failed to get an answer. The question is as follows. When a channel, which was a giant in telecasting, was not given the broadcasting rights, how come people like N. Srinivasan, Shilpa Shetty, Shah Rukh Khan, Preeti Zinta, Mukesh Ambani, Vijay Mallya, and the others get to be owners of cricket teams for an annual BCCI event? Number two, what are you going to achieve from it? How does it benefit you? My answer to this question would be as follows. When ICL was banned by the BCCI, why is this event still not banned after having such a huge expose of a match fixing and spot fixing scandal? Why is the parent body still allowed to operate being a tax-paying citizen of this country? I have all the rights to know. And this is my interest and benefit out of this. Because I too am a public figure and I deserve to know what exactly is happening. Now that I have answered why I wanted to take this up, let me go ahead and start the next chapter. But before I start the next chapter, some questions that came to my mind and some questions that people around me rose are very important to be put out so that the same thought process transfers onto the person who is reading this. And then we all can be on the same page and execute all the connections that these events have to carry. The 2008 Mumbai attacks happened from 26th to 29th of November 2008. And the one event that happened before this, which could easily be the camouflage that was very much needed for the people who came from that side without raising any such suspicion, was that ICL 2008 had the entry of a team Lahore Badshahs. I do not have any idea why this angle was not investigated, but if you sit back and see how the events of ICL happened between October 10th to November 16th, and the Mumbai Taj attacks happened on 26th of November, does this sound something like a pre-planned game or am I thinking too much? But if I give some additional workload to my brain, why is it not possible that along with the sporting staff and also using this as a reason to come and support their team from Pakistan, the terrorists came to India without raising much of a suspicion? Most of them, those who got into the limelight after the incident, if inner reports are to be believed, had VIP passes of the ICL. Now, this cannot be verified because it's a long lost story. And now this can be brushed aside as a publicity stunt. But when the thing is as clear as this, and the introduction of a Pakistani team for an event which is no ways connected to international cricket, though a lot of cricketers from other nations did participate, why were two new teams added? One from Bangladesh, one from Pakistan. Now, if they say these were Asian nations, then what about Sri Lanka? Why was not a team from Sri Lanka too added? These questions I know may sound stupid, but if you actually work around them, you'll find out that the questions I am asking can actually make sense. Anyways, now we cannot do much about it, but I will now start the second chapter of this IPL, wherein I will expose a lot more things and a lot more names and all the incidents and my learnings I have gotten my hands on or gotten to hear around them. Number two, the kickstart. When Subhash was hell-bent that he wants only his monopoly in the event and will not entertain anyone else, the viper of Indian business struck as always. The trend of the man being the silent assassin, first give out things at a rate which no ways can be true, and then loot double profits around it. And this man was one of the main reasons why IPL started, and a lot of milestone events followed. First thing that should be noted here is Praful Patel and Lalit Modi. When the meeting was set in the BCCI, The only condition that was put was that this event should function as per the interests of the business owners and BCCI only. And BCCI only will take the money, the name, and the fame around it. Hence, as per the instruction of the teams, Lalit Modi was chosen to be the chairman or commissioner of the IPL. Lalit Modi was that power broker who danced to the tunes of the Ambanis, and Praful Patel was the aviation minister then. So, if the connections can be made here, go ahead and do it. And the IPL, if believed, is one of the main reasons for the pressure to build on Vijay Mallya. If the entire audit is made on how the huge amounts of money that is invested on each player was to make out to the news, and if the real matter is out, the one thing everyone would understand is all this is just show. No amount is actually paid upfront, and there are perks in the payment. If you are in the playing 11, this is what you get. If you are there for the whole tournament, this is what you get. And if you leave the tournament halfway, this is what you get. Likewise, and if you do not want to believe what I am saying, the stand in example for this is the ICL. When it became totally toothless, the players got back hard, saying that they were not paid their salaries through ICL. And IPL has no connection whatsoever. The bidding angle was new, but the pattern of the teams and the way the tournament was conducted, everything is a photocopy of the ICL. And if you do some legwork around what I have just spoken, you will get the answers exactly to how I have asked my questions. All this never comes out. It comes out as how these people want to let it out. And in my language, this is not right. The fall of Vijay Mallya started with a tiff during one of the events. The first match of the IPL, the very first one, the entire money went to Dubai. And the man wanted his twos to have the first laugh. That's how Kolkata won the first match. There were inputs on this too, but those were neglected. And the thing is that now, if we come out and speak about this, no one would really be interested. Whatever bids are placed in the bidding, more than 200% of it is covered during the endorsements, the gear and kit sponsors, and also the advertisements this team endorse. And the settlement is made on the day of the final. Not a single team owner has put a single penny out of his pocket as loss. These people, whatever loss they have shown, it has helped them in their tax returns too. Just like why Aditya Birla is running Idea and Ambanis were running Reliance Telecom. Now, taking a break from the IPL just for a short while, let's speak about the telecom scam, which took place at around the same time, and some sponsors too, which made it on the shirts of these IPL playing teams. But before that, the most important angle, the rise of Reliance Telecom and the way they started their operations, and then when the CBI was closing in on them, how Jio came into existence, and all the losses, the so called losses, were covered because Jio purchased only certain amount of bandwidth, but rest of its operations ran on the Reliance Telecom towers only. One of the names that came out as one of the key conspirators of the 2G scam was Surendra Pipara. There were a lot of other names, but the reason I have picked this name is because this is one name that played a huge role in the scam, and is also the bridge that got P. Chidambaran into the picture. Confused? Let me explain. When the supplementary charge sheet was filed, two names came up, Karti Chidambaran and P. Chidambaran. And not just this, there was one more name of my favorite, within brackets sarcastic, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, who opened his Pandora box and gave out his statements too, stating that Aircel and Karti had close links and some deals happened between them. Now, the chain of events and how you too can make out how beautifully this was scripted. And then I will also give you the amounts of money paid for such big issue to be put to rest and every name that was on the list to be acquitted. Disha is the reason we could lay our hands on all this, and I salute that girl for the way she did these things silently and got the desired results as instantly as possible. And she is one woman who always stands by the side of truth, no matter what, and is strong enough to just ignore the threats or criticism she was facing. and is continuously facing. I feel proud that she is standing strong and gathering all the necessary information to get this work completed. Now, before I start this angle, the only thing that I want to request you once again is that the next few slides are very important. Please carefully read them out before you decide on anything. So, Meena ji,
Yes.
so for today, I will just stop reading here.
Yeah. And could you join us on Monday? Is that okay with you?
Monday is what date? Monday. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm expecting some travel again soon,
Okay.
Meena ji.
So
So
please let
plans
us
are
know.
fluid. I'm not sure. Sure,
Yeah.
I'll definitely let you know.
Let
I'll
us know so
definitely.
that the viewers will wait for that.
See, because when I'm traveling again, I can't do that decoding work as well.
Yes.
So are you getting an understand? Only when I'm
Yeah.
at home, I get the time to decode and all. So when I'm
Yes.
traveling, I am not able to decode. So there is not
Yeah.
enough
But I
material
think you have
to
now
decode.
decoded some more, isn't it? You said that you were
Yes, I
planning
am.
to.
I am as
Yeah.
well. Well,
Yeah.
yes, when I came back and I have
Yeah.
started decoding again. So I have shared
Yeah.
more on Twitter. So
Yeah.
we can have another session. But
Yeah.
I'll confirm. I'll
Yeah. You
confirm
let
with
me
you.
know. Yes. Yes.
Sure, sure,
Thank you so
Minaji.
much,
Thank
and
you.
good night. I know you're
Thank you.
tired.
Good night.
Thank you
No,
from the
thank you,
viewers.
Minaji.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you. Good night.